Okay, we are starting into the second session for this afternoon here at the 2024 Iris Awards, kindly sponsored by Sony. We are in the Wedding Open category. This category is proudly sponsored by Rothbury and Ando Insurance. The Wedding Open category is for photographs that recognise the broader celebrations around weddings that may include the wedding day, hens, stags parties, trash the dress, engagement sessions, anniversaries and styled wedding shoots. If you want to hit the button. Ashley from Rothbury Insurance is joining us at the trade show this year, and he will be introducing you all to Lucinda Adams, who will be taking over the brokering and administration of the Focus Plus insurance scheme. We encourage members to go over and say hello to them and grab a vitamin pouch, some lollies, and don't forget to put your business card in the box for the business drawer. They will also run the popular cornhole game again.
Don't go because someone tells you to go.
And we're into the Sony.
Don't go because everyone else is going. Don't go because it would make you look good, or because you can make it look good. Cities, mountains, streets, oceans, deserts, doesn't matter. Go because you have to go. Go because it was written on your DNA. Go because it's pouring out from every scene and dream and every map that leads you to the unknown. And every thought that seems to come back to the one thing that rips you out of bed at night. And when you go with eyes open, go fast, go nimble, go passionately, go without sleep if you have to. However you go all in. And if you don't like the rhythm, just change the beat. As you go, remember, the world is waiting for your perspective.
We just leave it to Ursula.
She really looks after us.
Your local Rothbury broker will manage all your insurance needs so you can focus on what you do best. Rothbury, leave it to us.
Right, we've got the run-through judges. Okay, that was our run through. Any other exclusions that people have got? Nope, that's cool. Right, as you know, we're in the Wedding Open category. It's kindly sponsored by Rothbury and Ando. Our judges tonight in here are Christina Vandy, Clinton Lloyd, Johan Van Kahn, Lizzie Gilmore, Rebecca Kempton, Stacey Cavalier, Steve Hussey, Tanya Niwa, Tony Stewart, and Matt Palmer. I am your panel chair, Tracy Kennedy. Sitting beside me is Tracy Scott, and out the back helping us we have got Jerry, Amy and Maxine. Thank you so much. Let us get started. Can we have Steve Hussey, Clinton Lloyd, Stacey, Christina and Johan to the desk, please? Okay. No. Okay. And judges, just remember this is a wedding open category, so they can do pretty much anything. Okay, our first image, please. Okay, we have an initial score of 74, which is a professional standard. We will accept that. Congratulations to the photographer. And can we have Steve talk to that? Thanks.
Yeah, it's a good treatment in black and white, and it's a nice embrace. It would just be nice to separate the couple more from the background, so bring them away from the tree a bit, use a different focal length just to soften the background so it's not competing so much with the couple.
Thank you, Steve. Next image, please. Okay, we have a score of 75, which is a bronze award. Congratulations to the photographer. And Johan, would you like to speak?
Yeah, there's a very Spanish feel to this image, and it's got this wonderful sort of tonality through it, and quite wonderful control of the highlight as well. What I really wanted to see was a little bit more of that flamenco feel to the design of the shape of the body. I felt that the body was very static, and it would have been great to have, you know, the sense that there was a bit of music happening within the image.
Thank you. Next print, please. Okay, we have an initial score of 74, which is professional standard. Are we happy with that, judges? Okay, we will accept that. Clinton, would you like to speak to the image, please?
Look, you've done this really beautifully. The tones are lovely there. I also like that you've kept it slightly asymmetrical. So I think you've thought about this. You've captured the moment of that veil perfectly. So you've done a really good job, and the couple will absolutely love this.
Thank you. And that's the end of our printing, Trace.
I like prints.
And we're just waiting for honours, just doing the setup next door, so. Yeah. While we're waiting, judges, we will have a quick chat about ourselves, shall we? Let's go to Clinton. Do you want to tell people a bit about yourself?
Sure. I am a Christchurch-based photographer. For many years did weddings, a lot of weddings, and love weddings. And now I'm just entirely a commercial photographer, shooting everything from headshots through to architecture, food, on farms, pretty much anything. If you're paying, I'll be there. Wait, that probably needs a bit of a caveat, sorry.
Thank you. What about you, Johan?
I wrote something. I see myself as a coffee-influenced photographer with poetic inclinations. I am an introvert, posing as an extrovert at weddings. I am an artist pretending to be a commercial photographer, preferring not to starve to validate my true artistic inclinations. When I cannot find the image I want to create, I defer to words to express myself. Mostly, I am an observer telling people about their world. Full stop.
Thank you, Johan. Very lovely. Judges, can I just get you to step out to the back of the room for 2 minutes, please, while they transfer into the digitals. Thank you. So what we're going to do, judges, this is quite a small category, so we're going to have to rotate you fairly quickly. So we are going to say thank you to Clinton and Stacey for the time being, and bring in Lizzie and Tony Stewart, please.
You know we're on the chopping block. One mistake, you're out.
Hey, our first image, please. Okay, we have an initial score of 74, which is a challenge from Johan.
We're pretty close. What a lovely, unique. I gave it a 78. What a unique idea. And if you think about people who travel to New Zealand because they want to have their elopement or wedding or something photographed here, what a great advert for New Zealand this is, and what a great promotion for that aspect. And I applaud the photographer for the use of shape. I mean, this grasshopper-like groom with this bride, and he's just stepping in quite a lovely way. It's a little bit heavy-handed on the treatment of them, and I acknowledge that, but I am only asking for a bronze. That landscape is outstanding, and that's what they come here for. And if this photograph was seen out in the world, other people would come here and want to be here so they could be part of that. I think the photographer has done a great job of that, and all I'm asking for is a few of you just to squeak up a little bit.
Okay, at the other end, we've got Tony Stewart.
I put this into a low professional standard, and you know, like, I want to see the positive, and I'm listening. I also worry that there has to be a really obvious reason why we have got a wedding that is out of focus in preference to the landscape. And I think maybe if you travel for the purpose of tourism, to have that focus quite literally on Mount Cook and the Southern Alps, there may be a reason for that. But I really think for a wedding image, we perhaps would not get this through accreditation, let alone into an award range. So I think we do have to be a bit mindful as what we are rewarding.
Thank you. And Christina, you're in the middle.
My first thought was, the first thing I saw, is that big cloud coming out of the bride's head just replicates a veil. And then I was drawn into the mountains, and it is a beautiful landscape, but I do question why the photographer would have put it into the awards. Yeah, so if that can be explained, that'd be great.
Thank you, Johan. Back to you.
What we have is deliberate choices here. There's no way this was an accident. An intentional placement of the bride and groom, very central and strong within the frame, held in by the dark rocks on the left and swept out following the line of the dress down into the dark landscape below. And as you say, you have a clouded veil pulling off to the background. How many people have tried to get that in reality with a real veil? So the photographer has achieved a wonderful thing there. The delicacy of the mountains in the background and their precision and clarity. And then you have the almost touch of the kiss, that inhaling of each other's breath. And you can feel that when I tell you about it, because I'm telling you to. And you can feel that, and it's there. And it's a little bit fairy tale in a way. Then there's the pose of the groom, which is well, it's a bit beanstalky, and it's wonderful in that because there's an element of comedy in there, but not satire, and then there's a connection with the hands together through the middle. So you're held into this feeling of love in an environment that is so stunning. And for some of these couples, what they really want to say is, I went all the way to New Zealand to have my wedding photographs taken. And it then becomes not about them, but being in New Zealand. And here they are. Give it a little bit of a nudge and you can get it up into a bronze as well.
Please rescore, judges. Very eloquent talking, Johan. 75 bronze. Next image, please. Okay, we have a score of 70, which is professional standard. Can we have a comment from Steve on this, please?
The bride's image is serene. Where it lets it down for me is basically it falls off in her face. It gets quite washed out and it's much stronger and brighter at the bottom of her image. I understand that the treatment that the photographer was going for, but I'm not convinced it was successful in this instance.
Thank you. Just imagine there's a blank screen, judges. Steve, thank you very much for the moment. And Rebecca, will you step in, please? Okay, next image, please. Okay, we have a score of 75, which is a bronze award. Congratulations to the photographer. Tony, would you like to give feedback, please?
Look, a really competent execution of a pretty wonderful location. It is a location that we've seen fairly frequently. However, the photographer has treated this, the tonality with the bride and groom with the clouds, with distinction. So well done.
Thank you. Christina, would you like to step down? And Tanya, would you like to step in, please? Next image, please. No, you've got it. We have a score of 75, which is a bronze award. Congratulations to the photographer. Rebecca, Rebecca, would you like to give feedback?
Look, I found this really interesting, actually. Lots of things to look at. I just think that my eye had nowhere to rest. It was quite hard to, just keep looking round, and there was sort of nothing to really hold me and ground me into the image. And, a few of the faces nearer the front are a bit soft, so yeah, just watch your focus there.
Thank you. Next image, please. We have an initial score of 78 bronze. Are we all happy with that, judges? Okay, Rebecca, you're challenging.
Look, I popped this into the silver range at 80. For me, the thing that just brought it up into that silver range was the connection with the people, the couple there, and that relaxed arm of his. He's really relaxed into the pose and really focusing on her. I like the mirroring of the colour palette in her dress and the Aurora pinks. It's a beautifully handled image, and it's such an incredible landscape. And for me, it's the connection. I think well done.
Okay, Johan, you're at the other end.
Okay, I'm on 76. I still feel it's worthy of a bronze, and I love the way that the bright horizon leads you into the bride and groom, and that's unmistakably good. I get a little bit lost with the object that's behind them, because you look through them and you explore them, and then you see this rock or tree stump or whatever it might be, and it's just there. And I feel it could either have been used to better enhance the image or actually been disappeared in some way. I do feel there's a smudgy cloud or something right in the middle when you look at the sky, which is full of sparkly little bits, and there's it feels like a thumbprint. It's not, but it feels like a thumbprint in the middle of the sky, and once you see it, you kind of can't drift away from it. I love the star in the top corner, but again, that pulls me out to where that is, and really what I want to do is sit cozy with the bride and groom, and I feel I'm doing that enough to give it a bronze, but maybe not a silver.
Okay, Lizzie, you're in the middle.
Yeah, to me it was actually the lack of connection that kept me pretty happy in the bronze. If you go in, it draws you in, but when I go in there, she's actually looking at the ground and not directly at him. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy in my bronze.
Tony, you want to have a chat?
Look, just a very minor point, Johan, just in case you weren't aware, that's a Magellan gas cloud, which is a natural phenomenon. So it's actually, it's not something that's an issue.
Okay, Rebecca, back to you.
Yeah, that cloud is just as Tony Stewart said. It is just what he said, and part of the night sky, which I actually found very beautiful. Yeah, I just think it's been really well handled. I didn't even notice the tree stump. I actually thought it was, when I looked at it, was part of the sort of the land, mountain in the background. It just sort of all merged into one, because for me, the highlights of the image are the couple, which have been beautifully handled and posed and just look wonderful and lit beautifully in their skin tones, everything, and then the aurora and the landscape beyond and the sky. It's, yeah, so anyway, we're only a couple of points away and I've got a few people that are close.
Rescore, please, judges. And we are on 78 Bronze Award. Well done. Okay, Johan, you can rest yourself. And Matt, do you want to jump on as a different perspective for everyone? All right, next image, please. Okay, so bringing back these two are the next ones to go. We have an initial score of 74 professional standard. Are we happy with that? Okay, thank you. Rebecca, would you like to give some feedback, please?
I just enjoyed the fun of this image, and yeah, I can't quite figure out what's going on, and perhaps there's just maybe not quite enough there to tell a bit more of the story, and unfortunately the people that are closest to us are quite out of focus and soft, so I do get a bit of distracted there.
Thank you. Okay, Lizzie and Tony have a wee rest, and Stacey and Clinton jump on back. Right, next image, please. Okay, judges, we've got a score of 79. There are a couple of you up on the next level, so would somebody like the challenge? Clinton? Yep.
Sure. This image has been executed really well, and I think for me, I've seen similar things happen before where you end up just lost in the highlights of the water, where in this image you start off at this top highlight in the middle and it leads you down step by step to that highlight water pool in the middle, which then holds you on to the couple. They're in this sort of delicacy of a moment where it's almost like that you can hear like them, they're taking a breath, they're enjoying that moment, her dress is flowing off, it's like the alternate river flow. So there's that sort of whole metaphor of like they're starting something new here, they're reshaping, their marriage is reshaping the flow that was into a new flow, which her dress does beautifully without distracting and taking you into the right-hand side of the image. There's a few little things that I noticed, like the top right, that distract me, but in terms of the feel of the image, it's not enough to detract from a beautifully done image with a nice story behind it.
Okay, Tanya, you're on the other end.
Not too far off, I'm on 77. I thought that there's a beautiful flow there, that the foreground water mimics, the dress mimics that flow of the water in the foreground. I feel like it sits well in that bronze range.
Okay, and Matt, what would you like?
Yeah, I was on high bronze for a lot of those reasons. I'm open to coming up to silver. I think in terms of getting me to silver without the discussion, it was the attention to detail around the edge of the frame. So for example, on the left, there's a little bit of a highlight of rock there that pulls us to that edge. There's the weed in the top right. But I think I could have ignored that perhaps if the hand posing was a little better. Her hand that's coming across her dress, she's got a finger sticking out. It looks a bit unusual, but it's not visible from back here, so perhaps I can be convinced to ignore it a little bit.
Okay, back to you, Clinton.
Yeah, I think you kind of answered yourself there. It's not actually a big issue, and I agree with that. You've got a beautiful story of the river splitting, the couple starting a new flow. It's been executed beautifully. Yep, there's a few little technical things that are going to keep it out of anything higher than a silver. I scored at 81, and I think we could easily sit in the low silver range.
All right, rescore, please, judges. You've managed it, 80 silver. Congratulations. Right, Rebecca, have a break. Christina, come in. And Tanya, have a break. And Steve, come in, please. All right, next image, please. We have an initial score of 76, which is a bronze award, and Steve's going to challenge that.
Yeah, this just might be my personal thing. I'm on 81 silver. I love images that contain images within images. I love dividing an image, taking one shot and telling two stories at the same time. And that's what the photographer's done here quite elegantly. The top part, we're getting the lips ready. Everyone is just about putting the T's together on the final, their presentation for the day. And downstairs, their legs are all telling the story of sort of this nervousness and elegance all at the same time. The legs are often crossed, they're often tight, they feel like there is underneath, the image of the duck, up above is all calm, and underneath they're paddling. This feels the invert. Underneath, we feel like there's a tension in their legs, which are held because of the going into the situation. And above, it's all busy finishing off the finesse. I think it's clever, and it's the strong line dividing the two, I think, works for me. So I think it's worth talking about and bringing up to a low silver.
Okay, Stacey, you're at the other end, please.
Yeah, I scored this as 73, and I was really wanting to like it for that kind of, division across the image and looking for those two stories, but I just don't get a story in either of the size of that divide that really grabbed me. I feel like the top image there's a little bit of interest on the right hand side, but the lady in the middle, we can just kind of see her back. We can't really see much of what's going on. down the bottom, there isn't anything for me particularly interesting that brings me up there. And then I'm also quite drawn to those window lines in the background, which again don't really add anything to me. So if we can find a little bit more story and interest, then I would come up into a bronze. But so I'd love to hear what the people have got to say.
Okay, Matt, you're in the middle.
Yeah, I was just into the bronze range. I see this as one of those images where the bridal party asks you to take a picture of their shoes, and this is a highly original way of showcasing the shoes that they've chosen to wear on this day. All of them have different pairs and designs, so I kind of see it as more a picture of what they're wearing on their feet more so than the people themselves. So I don't actually mind that they're quite anonymous at the top. I think they will know who they are in that picture. But what held me back from going into silver straight away is I feel like there's a little bit of a lack of sharpness, particularly in that area and above, well, pretty much everywhere. So yeah, I would have probably gone straight to silver if that had have all been there.
Okay, Clinton, you want to have a chat?
Yeah, I'll just add to that, Steve, you noticed it really perfectly. The photographer is very clever, but the sharpness, I'm sort of looking for something to find that's in focus, and that's left me searching beyond the clever ideas. And if it had been executed differently, I 100% would be in the silver range with you. But I'm sitting at 74, and yep, the photographer's clever, but the execution isn't going to get me into the silver range.
Okay, back to you, Steve.
Yeah, I think I've said what I was going to, and it's been covered. Thanks for your comments. I like the idea, Matt, that it's a study in the shoes. It's this presentation. If we've shot weddings, we've all had to line up shoes and do interesting things with them, and having them presented in this way, framed the way they have, and then having the extra story above, I think is a unique approach.
All right, rescore, please. And we are still 76 bronze, thank you. Okay, Matt, take a break. Johan, you're back, please. Okay, next image, please. Okay, we have an initial score of 77, which is a bronze award. Are we going to challenge that, Stacey?
Yeah, I scored this an 83 just because it's so magnificent. They're so lucky to have captured this moment, obviously, on this day. And I know that any photographer, wedding photographer, would be jumping out of their skin to be able to take this photo on this day. There's hardly a ripple on the water. It's really, really smooth. It just means that they're framed really nicely. It's a very carefully constructed portrait. I know that they are it's not overly natural posing, but that can be quite representative sometimes of Asian cultures. I just really enjoyed that reflection, and even of the lights. I know they're
along the edges they can be quite bright, but they just add to the reflection and the feel. And it's wonderful to have that couple a little bit, nice and visible and framed nicely in the foreground. So, what are we on? 77?
Yes, 77 bronze.
Yeah. Well, if it's only a few points maybe into a silver. 83.
Okay, Johan.
I don't enjoy being the naysayer, but here I am. And when I look at this image, the strongest thing is the most insignificant thing. There's a bright white light that could have been taken out with such ease that would have left us drifting through that wonderful sky and back onto the reflection into the water and everywhere else. And then it gets your attention so strongly that you end up not looking at the bride and groom. But then when you get to the bride and groom, their posing is slightly uncomfortable. Her shoulder's a bit raised, and it's almost like a rejection in a way. And her situation there, like the dress, it's not that beautiful flow that you'd like to see in a dress. It's been smoothed out to the right-hand side almost too much. And then as you follow the dress up, the post on the side of the dress appears like a foreign object, which again could easily have been removed in this category. And it sort of feels that there was a little bit more finesse that could have been applied to make this magnificent. And I feel let down.
Okay, and Christina, you're in the middle, please.
Yeah, when this came up, I really wanted to love it. But as I got in closer, there's all these little things that could have been touched up, like Johan said. And for me, the biggest thing is that the bride and the groom have such a warm light on them. We could have easily have changed that in post. Yeah, if you can help me a little bit, I'm happy to come up a bit, but yeah.
Back to you, Stacey.
Yes, I see. I know what you mean. I did see the bright spot at the back there, but I chose to ignore it because of the magnificence of everything else. It's just another light in the background to reflect on that beautiful water. The warmness on the couple, for me, that's really lovely because, I mean, they should be warm. They should be warm and cozy and snuggling into each other. So I really don't want that. I didn't see that as a problem at all, and I really think that gives them quite nice, lovely skin tones and things. So I really don't mind that at all. I just think that it's such a magnificent scene, and this couple would be so absolutely thrilled with it. There are some minor flaws and technicalities and things, but surely it deserves a silver.
Rescore, please, judges. $78 bronze. Well done. Okay, Clinton, we're going to get you to swap out for Tony, please. Next image, please. We have an initial score of 76 bronze. We happy with that, judges? You want it? Okay. Do you want? You're going to challenge it? Okay.
Look, I think in fairness, I will challenge. Look, I gave it 83. I've got to be honest, I don't really understand this. I don't really know what's going on. But in fairness to the photographer, I think you've given us something here which I think has more questions than answers. You've got this fairly obvious tan line on an arm, which is so unbridal. You've got the leggings with the lace, so unbridal. You've got this sort of smile and this look, which is part grimace, part pukana, part sort of smile, so kind of unbridal. You've got these gloves on, yet sort of hairy arms. Look, really, there's a bit of mystery here, and I think the intrigue alone has pushed it a little bit higher. Look, do what you need to do. Just if you kind of agree with some of those points, you may want to push it a little bit higher. I've gone a silver.
Okay, Christina, you're at the other end.
Like Tony said, it's a bit of a mystery. I don't know really what I'm looking at, but it is, yeah, I awarded it 73 as a strong professional practice. So I'm quite happy with where I'm sitting.
What's it on?
In the middle, we've got Stacey.
Can I just ask what's it on at the moment?
76 bronze.
76, okay. I really, really wanted to like this a lot, and I do like it a lot. It looks to me like she's about to chuck that bouquet at the photographer. It's almost as if this person's been made to put that wedding dress on, and suddenly, you know, like the person is taking a photograph of them, and she's been caught in the act taking the photograph, and she's about to throw that bouquet. And I really love the humour within that. So I certainly would have come up higher. Except that the wedding dress is so blown out. There's so few details and it's so bright there. And had that been a little bit more involved, I would have certainly come up with you, Tony, just for the comical factor.
Okay, Johan has a wee talk to do.
If we're going to take it up to a silver, it needs to have better photographic craft, I feel. And that I feel, that is what's missing. And you know, little things like the flowers maybe just a little bit higher away from the face. And the energy's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but the photographic craft, I think, is just a little bit void here.
Okay, back to you, Tony.
I'm being a little bit careful with my words. Well, I think we're going to need to be consistent if we're going to reward photographic craft. Look, I'm going to point out two things, and it may help you, it may not. I think if you look here, there is an earring missing. There is one on and there's one off. I think this message is a little bit more complex in terms of it's actually saying more about sort of the gender and the state of weddings and the sort of the politics. We live in an age at the moment where there's a little bit of ambiguity, and I think there's probably something a little bit more quirky going on within that and as a sort of a statement of modern weddings and what they are to different people and how they kind of evolve in bits and pieces. So no judgment associated with that, rather than there's a little bit of confusion in this, which is potentially sort of evolution of style and how we now see the modern wedding.
Please rescore. And we are still on a 76 bronze award. Thank you and well done. Okay, we're going to do a swap out. Lizzie, you're coming in, and Tanya, you're also coming in. And who are we taking off? Taking off Christina and Stacey, please. Next image, please. Okay, we have a score of 76, which is a bronze award. Congratulations to the photographer. And can we have a comment from Steve, please?
An exceptional location, stunning dress, and I really love the connection of the couple, their facial expressions. So well done to the photographer on your award. Feel like to improve it, if you could have changed your angle so that the dress wasn't cropped off, and maybe it would have made it feel a little bit more cocoon-like, maybe even a round mat around the would have looked quite nice too.
Thank you. Next image, please. Okay, we have a score here at 76, which is a bronze award, fairly consistent across the panel there. Lizzie, or Johan, would you like to speak?
There's a wonderful feeling here, and it feels like the person in the chair has limited mobility, and the fact that there is this connection that's happening is quite powerful. Had the left-hand side either been darkened off or cropped out, it would have felt more contained within that circle created by the hands, all of the hands and the faces. And had the post coming out of the back of the hand been either removed or darkened off, it would have been stronger still. But congratulations on getting a bronze award.
Thank you, Johan. Right, Johan and Steve, have a break, and Matt and Rebecca, come on back. Next image, please. Okay, we have an initial score of 76 bronze. Are we happy with that, judges? Okay, Tanya, would you like to speak to that? Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a beautiful setting that has been chosen for this couple. The lovely expressions on their faces. I think just what could have helped improve it is just that the brighter background does compete a little with the couple in the foreground, and that they're both, if there was more connection between the couple, even though there's nice expressions, just a more intimate moment between them would have helped elevate the moment.
Thank you. Next image, please. Okay, we have an initial score of 73 professional standard. And Matt, you're going to challenge.
Yeah, I'd put this slightly into bronze, and I think the first question I asked was what the photographer's bringing to the image, because we are taking quite a straight photograph of something that's been created as part of the wedding decor. But then I read a little bit more story into it, and I see all the names where there's no figures left. And then I also question the inclusion of the drinks on the side, and I think they all come together. And the Lego figures that remain are all of the drunkards that are left at the end of the night, and the people that perhaps a bit more conservative are the ones that have taken their Lego figures and gone home a little early. So I feel like this is a record of the party animals that are left at the wedding at a certain, when this photograph was taken, and it's the drinks and the absences that tell that story. So that's why I put it just into the bronze range.
Okay, and we're going to hear from Tanya.
Yeah, I scored this 70 and was looking, took a close look at the image to see what the story was and what more I could learn from going in close and having a look. However, I feel like that the photographer has captured this moment, but it's there to be captured, and it's not really. I find the bottle and the glass and the bright wall, I find they're a little distracting. So I wasn't feeling like the photographer brought too much to the image.
Okay, and in the middle there we've got Lizzie. Anything else, Lizzie?
Yeah, I scored this high professional standard 73. I'm willing to come up into the bronze. The reasons that you talked about, Matt, I didn't see that idea of that time passing, it being a moment a little bit later. I thought maybe it was just the beginning. So it's quite unique of the photographer to actually take the moment and recognise that and capture it.
Okay, back to you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for those comments. I agree with all the positive and negative that's been said. So what I will say is that this is a fairly, it's a record-keeping image, and it's the kind of image that you look for when you're a wedding photographer. And this one's just got a little bit more quirkiness to carry it across the line, and it's got a little bit more story, and it could have been so easily overlooked. So I'm just looking at bronze.
Rescore, please. Good talking, 75 bronze. Well done. Okay, Tony, have a wee break, and Johan, you're back. And next next image, please. While we're waiting for the judges, don't forget there is the Ian Poole Award where you can vote for your favourite judge. So if there's been somebody you've been who's made you laugh or however, you can go and vote at the NZIPP table for your favourite. We have an initial score of 75, and Johan's hand went up before I even finished.
Yeah, okay. How romantic. How fabulously romantic. How dreamy, how ethereal. All those wonderful wedding cliches all in once. I hate the highlights. I really do. I dislike them a lot. I dislike them so much that I did not give this a gold, but I did give it a silver at 83. I would love you dreamers and lovers to come and join me there.
Okay, actually, Tanya, you're at the other end, please.
So I scored the 72, didn't I? Yeah, I saw the 72. I would have loved to give it a silver with distinction. However, just going up to it, the couple aren't sharp at all. The man's hand's really blurred. It looks sharper in the a couple of the lights in the top and maybe the stairwell, which feels really disappointing because the dress is really beautiful and the, you know, just the movement and the glamour of the bride is really beautiful in the light and shade areas. But that's, you know, that's something that we really need, is I think focus on the couple, sharpness on the couple first.
Okay, and Liz, actually Rebecca, you're in the sort of middle there.
Yeah, I'm on 74, high professional standard. I really, like Tanya, wanted to have this really high. Unfortunately, the highlights, the technicals, I don't think, I feel that the actual feeling on the faces of the couple don't feel super genuine, in all honesty. They feel quite forced, and you've got that really big highlight that's on the floor at the end of her dress. This is the wedding open category, and you do have the opportunity to remove distracting things like that take you out of the image, and that was one of them there. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, back to you, Johan.
The romance and the dreaminess of it aside, the technical aspects are not perfect. The flow on the dress is pretty perfect though. The highlights are frustrating, but they're not devastating except for the one on the floor behind them. The softness of the bride and groom, I'm willing to forgive, but I understand that you may not. And I accept that. The feeling I do feel, I'm going to call it cultural in a way that I don't want it to come across as in any way biased, but sometimes people are not able to express themselves freely, so there needs to be a certain amount of instruction, and I feel they have listened particularly well. I love the diagonality of the lines of the light coming through, dragging you through. There's a stair rail that parallels that. There's a whole lot to love about this image. So see if you can sneak up a couple of extra marks just for love.
Rescore, please, judges. Johan, you need to put yours in. Squeaked up to 76 bronze. Well done. Okay, Lizzie and Tanya, thank you. And Clinton and Stacey, you're back. Can we have the next image, please? We have an initial score of a 74 bronze, and Matt Palmer is going to challenge that.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting argument, I guess. I actually see this as a sad wedding image, and that something has happened. So I kind of see the equestrian equipment behind them, and I think maybe they've gone over a lot of jumps and hurdles to get to the wedding day. The lights are not on, they're extinguished. It's very solemn and sobering and sad. And I think that's intentional. I'm reading it as intentional.
What'd you score? 78.
Yeah, I'm on 78, so bronze. Yeah, maybe there was meant to be a horse in this picture, or maybe there was a family member that was supposed to be there on this day. Maybe the horse is the family member, I don't know. But it's a sad wedding image. I'm reading that as intentional, and I put it in bronze.
Okay, Johan.
I'm sad too. Sorry, I shouldn't have. Sorry, I gave this a 68, and mainly for the lost opportunities. And yes, there may have been like a personal loss in there, but I feel photographically there's losses as well. Why, and please explain, why did they cut through that wonderful reflection right through the waist? And that disappointed me. There was such a wonderful opportunity to create a mirrored image of some form. Why extend horizontally out and include extra information? Yes, there's a lovely graphic of the water, but if you're using the graphic of the water, fill it with something stunning like a reflection. And then the hand holding the umbrella between them is almost like a separator. And it would have been nice not to see that at all. So, yeah, I'm feeling a little disappointed, but please make me happy with your sadness.
Okay, Clinton, you're right on the middle there.
Yeah, I scored at 74. I agree that it's intentionally drab. Like, I think you're onto something there. And I think that is the joy, Johan. It's that they haven't done the cliche. They haven't gone for the dramatic reflection of a pretty average sky. So, yeah, I appreciate the intentionality. I could come up to a low bronze for that intentionality, but yeah, I agree with what you've said about the things like the hand, but yeah, that's all I've got to add to that, sorry.
Okay, Rebecca, you're going to have a chat?
I just want to add, I'm on 77. I think it absolutely deserves bronze. I don't think the reflection would hold any weight whatsoever. The mood wouldn't change. It's sad, it's sombre. Perhaps they were meant to get married there. Perhaps it's their equestrian club, and perhaps with flooding and some of the devastating weather things that have happened, in our country, if it's New Zealand, perhaps that was meant to be their wedding day. Perhaps they were meant to get married there, and, they still wanted to have that image because perhaps that's a super special place to them. It obviously is, for them to have that image there. And the look on his face is so genuine, and it's different. I think it deserves bronze.
Right, Matt.
Yeah, I think a lot's already been said, but I'll just skim over some quick things. I think if you included the full reflection, then that would actually dominate the whole composition. You'd have so much water in the foreground to fit them in that you would probably miss a lot of the great things in the background, like the equestrian equipment and that kind of thing. I think in terms of the space, this is the space that they shared with whatever it was that they've lost, perhaps. It encompasses that whole space that the horses were running around in, or maybe their friend who's a rider or something would practice in. So I think the space is important, and it gives them space as well in that moment, in that time. So I agree with you that there's a myriad of ways that this could have been improved, but for the uniqueness and the feeling, I'm giving it a bronze, and I hope you can too.
Rescore, please, judges. Lots of good talking, 76 bronze. Okay, thank you, Rebecca, and Steve, welcome back. Next image, please. Okay, we have a score of 75 bronze. Congratulations to the photographer. And Steve, would you like to speak to that?
It's a stunning location, and the dress colour and the flow is lovely. I'm distracted by the leaves. They could have been removed. I think you've intentionally left them there, but I don't know that it was a good choice. I also think that the crop on the dress, if we could have seen the full extent of the dress, that wouldn't have felt so much tension on the edge.
Thank you, and thank you to Matt Palmer. Christina, would you like to come back, please? Christina. Yep. Next image, please. While we're waiting for our judges, we'd just like to thank Rothbury and Endo Insurance for sponsoring this wedding open category. We have an initial score of 78 bronze award. Are we happy with that, judges? Or is that Johan's hand going out? Yep.
Oh, was there anybody else? Were you on 80? Okay. So I gave this an 80. And as much for the sentiment and the feeling as the graphic nature of it, the strength and the power of the foreground figure, and you can almost feel what they're seeing, and you might call that pride or love, and then the absorption and the holding of that bride, and the stillness of that, with that very serene background that places it in a country or a town that we know, and it's super strong, just for the graphic content. Her eyes are closed, the absolute stillness of that moment. I gave it an 80. Let's all squeak up just a smidge and get it up there into something shiny.
Okay, we're going to go to the other end, which is Steve.
I just snuck this into bronze on a 75. I'm happy with that there. I feel the groom is too strong. It's ominous. It feels more dominant than it should in this situation. I think it should be a warm presence. It feels more that doesn't come across to me. The bride is also out of focus, and she's just a bit soft and has the hair across her face, which just distracts me from, the craft of taking a intentional photo of a reveal like this. So I think I get the image. I like the graphical elements of it. For me, it needs a bit more finesse to go up into silver.
Okay, and in the middle there we've got Clinton, who's waving his hand.
Sorry, no, I'm not in the middle. I'm on 82, and I think we need to reevaluate the image. Steve, you absolutely nailed it with the word ominous. This is an image challenging what we expect a wedding image should be. There is an ominous feeling to this, almost like it's film noir. There's sort of is he going to help her or hurt her? But it challenges, why do we think that in a category we're asking people to create art, why do we expect them to just have this lovey-dovey moment where someone has created this moment which has a really strong sense of feeling? It's just that feeling is not like a romantic floating on the clouds feeling. What they've done is created this really strong, solid presence in the presumably groom, going up to her bride, which seems unaware. It's almost like I said, film noir. So no, I think if you open to breaking genre conventions in this genre, I think you actually start to see a strength to what the artist has created, that they're actually intentionally doing that, and it is intentionally ominous.
Okay, can we hear from someone in the middle? And that would be Stacey, please.
You can. I scored this a 78, and I'm going to come up. The more I sit with it, the more I enjoy it. I really got immediately that sense of there's a real pensive, atmospheric nature to it, which was fabulous. Initially, what held me back was just a few kind of random little bits of light, the sparkly bits or something. There's something by the right shoulder and something on the left shoulder and something on the right at the very top. Those sorts of things distracted me, but I've really enjoyed the narrative that you've both given it around, I guess, explaining that story a bit more. And I agree, I will be coming up into the silver range.
Okay, let's go back to Johan, please.
If you squint down and look at this image for long enough, you see the forms and shapes and the curve of the man's neck and the beautiful shape of the woman's neck and how her hair comes out over. And it's really strong, and you stop identifying them as a bride and groom, and you see them as shapes and forms held within frames, like the frames of the windows, etc. And then when you look at the face, you see a blank. It's not telling you something, but you get to then more enjoy what you call the film noir, the artistic elements involved in it. And it's not a cliche. It's not what you would expect. It's something quite different, and therefore you need to look at it with different eyes. So I looked at it with silver eyes, and yeah, help me here.
Rescore, please. Oh, Johan, you can talk up to silver really well. Congratulations, 81. Next image, please. And we have an initial score of 77 bronze. Clinton, off you go.
Okay, I scored this 83, and the image really struck me. I guess there's the initial things which we all have seen, the graphical nature. It's split into two. There's the warm and the cool. There's this beautiful soft light. It sort of starts to feel a bit like a painting. There's it's all nice, and there's little details that, yes, you could have cloned out, but big picture, it's just outrightly a beautiful image. We agree on that. What got me into the silver range was actually that the story of this is like, their passion this is love outside of a church. This is, they couldn't even hold on. I feel a little bit like a pervert, the spine on this moment now, like that's them, can't even wait. Their love is so intense for each other that they didn't even make it to the church. So this is not a video category. We don't know what happened next, and that's a good thing. But I think there's this moment of really authentic desire, I guess, is the emotion there. There's this strong desire that this couple sit in a beautiful location, but yet all they see is what they want, which is the person right in front of them. So I'm rewarding the photographer, the artist, for creating this moment that is technically really beautiful, but then injecting this little bit of satire, humour, cleverness, and desire. So look for the desire and come find me in the Silver Range.
Okay, Christina, you're at the other end with everyone else, so.
When I saw this come up on the run through, I really wanted to love it. I got up closer, and then I was really let down by, there's a little bit of a yellow-pink haze coming through on the left-hand side of the lake. My eye just keeps going to it, and I can't move away from that side. If the photographer had cropped it, maybe a more vertical crop, then yeah, beautiful story there, Clinton.
Okay, and somebody else, who we got? We've got Johan, let's go for that one.
Thanks. Okay, so I'm not seeing lust. I am seeing love though, and it's very gentle and kind and all those things. And I understand what you're seeing about that unusual colour on the side, but it's kind of carried on through to where the bride and groom are. And I suspect that a better crop would have been maybe to take some of the top out, because a lot of that sky is not very interesting, and just a squeak off the bottom. So it became this wonderful vista, and then you could have rested with them, because you would have stopped there and not gone, oh, what's up there in the sky? What's over there? And you wouldn't have got lost away. So I feel that they've let themselves down with that. I agree entirely. There was some object removal that they could have handled. And it's a shame, because I would have definitely gone higher had they.
Okay. Stacey's wagging her finger. Go. Yeah.
I put this into the bronze range. I think that light on the left is the end of the aurora. And that explains that, hopefully, if I'm right. I love your story, Clinton. I actually just found the couple, they're posing quite awkward. Otherwise, I feel like her hips are really forward and she's almost like she's going to fall over. I didn't feel that kind of same passion in there, but I do really enjoy the story. Yeah, so I'll come up a bit, but I'm not sure that I can come up into silver.
Okay, Clinton.
Yep, I appreciate that. I think, yeah, you're exactly right. It's the aurora, it's the light that flows in through there. Initially thought that about the crops in terms of changing the crop, but then if you had done that, the author would have lost the two beautiful eyes in the sky looking down at this couple. So I actually am okay with that. So no, I hear what you're saying, and I think, yep. But no, I do. I feel this image, and the photographer has done a very good job to create that feeling.
Rescore, please. We have a score of 78 bronze. Well done to the photographer. And thank you, judges. That is the end of our Wedding Open category, kindly sponsored by Rothbury and Ando Insurance. We also have to thank Sony, who are the 2024 Iris Awards major sponsor. And judges, if you can just wait around for honours to turn up for finals judging. Thank you.